It's a Sunday, and Sunday means that Rick Wilson and Jesse roast me. Congratulations. Let's go. Rick Wilson, Sunday, President of the United States on Meet the Press with Kristen Welker, and he doesn't know if he's supposed to uphold the Constitution.
You know, he has sworn that oath twice now.
He had his fingers crossed both times.
Then again, he's been married 3 times, and he swore an oath then too, and he signed about a jillion contracts in his life, and he never followed any of those. So my only question to my conservative friends who are like, the Constitution comes first. Really? Does it, or are we now just going to not even pretend anymore? We're just going to go all in.
We're in post-constitutionalism.
We're in post a lot of things right now, and I think the dumbest part of this is expecting that Trump will ever follow anything that doesn't make him money, make him feel like he's the center of attention, or titillate him in some way.
I think the most sort of meaningful moment of that interview was him explaining that he has no idea how trade works at all.
Yeah, correct. He really is.
That was
he's a guy that people in the White House should
incredible.
Know that he thinks he's great with the press, and increasingly, unless it is spoon fed to him like vanilla pudding, not so good. I mean, that was not an impressive answer on trade or the economy because he doesn't understand anything about anything at all. There's no there. And you know, if you were a Trump supporter watching that, you know, just arguendo, you had to say to yourself, well, the boss could have answered that a little more effectively. Oh, fuck, I got to go to the store and buy beans and canned goods because we're all going to starve this winter. So it was not a good answer.
So let's talk about this for a second, because this is the thing that it feels like we're careening towards right now. We still have empty container ships coming in, right, in the ports of Los Angeles, Long Beach. These are sort of next week and the week after. That's after the tariffs. So if you were in the water when on Liberation Day, you weren't tariffed. But if you were heading in the water the day after Liberation Day,
you're on the list.
As we say in economist speak, fucked. So now,
yes, that is a technical term that Frederick Hayek wrote often about when he discussed free markets.
Exactly. So now he's fucked, right? We have China. There is nothing. We have
There's no daylight
90
there.
days.
The Chinese correctly read that Trump would do one stupid thing after another, double down on the stupid thing, take the stupid thing out on a date, fuck it in the backseat of his car, get it pregnant, and then become a baby daddy to the stupid thing's son of the stupid thing. This guy, they played him like a fiddle, and they continue to play him like a fiddle.
We have no deal with no 90 deals in 90 days, right? Nope. Zero. No Japan, no India,
I don't think
South
we have
Korea.
any actual deals. I mean, maybe like Lesotho or somewhere has made a deal.
I don't think we have Lesotho.
I don't think we have any deals.
So we have nothing. And we have this all goes into effect on July 7th. Okay. July 7th. We have, again, right now, we still have 150% tariffs on China. So, everybody's sort of stockpiled. A lot of vendors have stockpiled. Now we're I think about 3 weeks from starting to really have empty shelves. Okay. We have no trade deals. We have no plan here. Even if tomorrow Donald Trump says to Xi, I give up, uncle, let's restart, let's end the tariffs, we will still have a post-COVID inflationary spike the way we did last time.
There's no question. There is no question. And he's weakened the U.S. dollar at the same time.
Right.
So foreign goods are going to cost more because of the tariffs. The weaker dollar is going to reduce our ability to grow the economy.
And our debt is going to get more expensive because
the inflationary pressures are going to, and in the best case, the Fed's going to have to put the brakes on any idea about reducing rates. Again, none of this had to happen, but it all ended up having to happen because Trump, when these mistakes, they concatenate, they pile on top of one another, and they don't just like, they're not additive. They multiply. They're like logarithmic. The more mistakes he makes, the more they compound all the previous mistakes. So we're in for, everybody should pray for a shitty recession. That's the good scenario.
Yes. And the market has sort of gone back to pre-Liberation Day numbers, right? The stocks are sort of back up because they think that the Fed is going to cut interest rates.
Yep.
The Fed is not going to cut interest rates because our Fed chair is actually smart and remembers the 1980s and stagflation. Now, what is going to happen is, despite not having a Fed cut, we are going to still probably have stagflation because things are going to get more expensive and we're going to head into a recession. And that will mean that we will be in a moment that is almost unfixable, stagflation, because you can't cut interest rates because things get more expensive and you can't lower interest rates because then it will get more inflationary.
This box he has put us in, just about the only thing that will undo this, and it won't undo all the damage, but there has to be basically a blood sacrifice of this issue. Trump has to say, and we all know how likely this is, which is to say zero, oh God, this was a fucking mistake. I fired Peter Navarro and Howard Lutnick. They're fucking idiots. They led me down a wrong path. This country believes in free trade, and we're going to work with our international friends and allies and partners and trading partners, and we're going to restore trade relations across the board. That's going to be my main job from now on. Forget all this other crap. I've got to get our economy moving again. That's how you would fix it if you believed in fixing it. He does not. He's starting to dig in. I don't mean just on like maybe they get $2 instead of 30, that stuff. I think he's starting to believe that this rhetoric he's been using, there's going to be some pain first. We've got to get tougher. We've got to toughen up. We've got to reindustrialize. None of the things he thinks are going to happen have happened, and they will not happen because this theory was broken from the beginning.
Right. I mean, the idea that you would onshore manufacturing by making things more expensive is not ever how it was going to go. And you could have done this. I think had you done this in 1970, it might have worked.
Sure.
But you can't do it now. And also the lack of certainty is going to keep people from building factories in the United States, especially for things that Americans don't even want these jobs. I mean, that's why this is so insane.
And honestly, we made an accommodation in this country a long time ago, and Trump never, ever, 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 ever mentions it. We have a trade deficit on material goods and a wild, vast global trade surplus on services.
Right.
Now those are going to take a big hit too, because the world understands the way the game is. They understand that the only way to defeat Trump is to cause so much economic pain in America that he loses power. He has lost a lot of his power in the last few weeks because the mojo he had with his base from the very start, from 2015, he knows the economy. He's a businessman. He's really smart. He knows how to negotiate. And now he looks like a fool every day. It has started to corrode. It's not everybody. It's not even the majority of the base. But it has started to corrode the idea that Donald Trump is this economic superhero who can never do wrong.
I also want to talk about this idea of being afraid of Trump. So this weekend, we saw Janet Mills in Maine. She won against Trump. Yep. I'll see you in court. She saw him in court.
Said, okay.
He lost. It's so easy. You can be Gretchen Whitmer hiding behind a folder, or you can be Janet Mills winning in the court. Which do you want to be?
Listen, I have said this for years. For a long time, there was some argument that I might be insane by saying this, but I've been telling people for years, he's a fucking bully. If you give in to him, he will take more of your lunch money. If you give in to him, he'll beat you up another time during the day. If you give in to him, he will keep insulting you. If you give in to him, he will keep taking a dump in your locker. this is a guy who, when he gets caught in his bullshit and has to really actually demonstrate it, whether it's this trade stuff we were just talking about, whether it's the Ukraine war, or whether it's Janet Mills in Maine, beating him on his sacred issue of the trans athlete stuff, or whether it's these law firms who capitulated in advance and then now have a court ruling against Trump saying, not only can you never do this, but it was illegal under the First and the Fifth and the Sixth Amendments, and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so, that was amazing.
So he loses much more than he wins, and they translate the few victories he gets into this, bulletproof image of Donald Trump in the political space that is just not accurate. People should go after him and punch him in the nose because frequently works.
Well, and also the other thing is that, look, this is first of all, it's morally wrong. Okay. Second of all, it's legally dubious. Third of all, it's authoritarianism. And fourth of all, it's not working. It's like that we have every single sort of authoritarian bit of, he can't, don't let him be Viktor Orban. He can't be it anyway. Stop it. So I would say, we got the mainstream media, but let's have 2 seconds on what you think the White House Correspondents Association should be doing.
They have all been in this, I think, wrong mindset that, if we don't have our place every single day in the briefing room,
right,
we've lost our mojo. That's the big get for being in the correspondent. What they should be doing is tearing this White House apart. They should be going after all of the secrets and the lies and the corruption and the scamming and the backbiting and the infighting and the weirdness. They should be going after this administration in the battlefield where they belong. It is not to watch Carolyn Leavitt open her lie hole every day and tell them another, 15 items of why Donald Trump is the smartest, handsomest, tallest man in every room. They should be doing their jobs. They should say, fuck it, if I can't get in the White House, I'm still going to make phone calls. I'm still going to go do the work. The old model is something, once again, that Trump has hacked. Like a lot of authoritarians, authoritarians use the tools of democracies to overturn democracy. The Trump media world is using the tools of the news media, the traditional mainstream media, to break the mainstream media. This is a foolish battle they can't win by complaining about, why did you let Tim Pool in the White House? Even though, I don't know who said it, but when Tim Pool was in there, somebody said the other day, he looks like he's about to leave the White House and go have a rap battle with Eminem in 8 Mile.
What I love about Tim Pool is nothing. But also
nothing.
The beanie. I like the beanie.
Well, he's a bald guy.
Like
he should just own it.
I like
Trust me, it's easier that way. A fetching chapeau, if you will.
So Trump's polling is down, still not probably where it deserves to be.
It's about it's very close to its
we're at
lower
41
possibility.
Or 40,
40, 41, 39.
I like it when he's 38. That's 37, 38. That's my happy place.
Yeah, and it has started to really scare the Republicans.
Yeah.
I know Virginia Republicans are trying to find ways to not say his name.
That's a fun story.
Oh,
I want to just talk about the Virginia gubernatorial.
All right, Molly, you know this one better than I do, but it just involves naked pictures.
Wait, which one is this? What are we talking about?
We got to explain.
Yeah, explain it, Rick, because I have no idea what's going on.
There's a Virginia Republican candidate out there who is caught up in this intramural fight now in the Republican Party because the Glenn Youngkin wing of the party, which whether or not people believe it, is he's
termed out, so fuck him, who cares?
Right. But so they tried to bump this guy named John Reed out of the Republican Party because he had this account on social media,
sexually explicit images of men,
of gay men and their penises.
Yes. Yes.
And so he's running for statewide office. He had a Tumblr. That's what I was trying to remember what platform it was. It was some of the oldies.
Yeah. Youngkin asked Reed to drop out last week.
Right. So they tried to get him out of the race, and now it's like you've got the the trads like Youngkin, who won him out. The MAGAs are defending the guy with the penis picture collection.
Oh,
The
that's
evangelicals are nervous. Winsome
Candidate
Sears,
choice
who doesn't like
matters.
the gays, is nervous. The whole thing is like kind of an apotheosis of where the MAGA movement is. They sucked in all of this weird flotsam and jetsam into their system after Trump. All the broken toys and misfit children wandered into MAGA. And so it shouldn't surprise people this is coming up. Look, if the guy wants to have a collection on his Tumblr account of men's penises, that is his business. I'm libertarian and open-minded enough to say, as long as it's behind the firewall and the Utes can't see it, that's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, but it's important to remember that Virginia it seems like the...
I mean, nobody ever criticized Steve Bannon for having a scab collection Tumblr.
But, you know, at the Virginia gubernatorial, I just want to do another second on this because, you know, it's coming up very soon. We have Spanberger is, I don't know what she polling at, 10,000 more than the Republican.
Look, here's the thing. If the Republicans lose Virginia at the statewide level and the legislative level, I will tell you exactly, and the congressional level, rather, I'll tell you exactly, there's a 2-word phrase you should just say over and over again. That's Elon Musk. The fact that so there's been 267,000 federal workers fired or laid off, and about 130,000 of those people are in the great state of Virginia in 3 congressional districts.
Yeah.
And every one of those members of Congress has said something like, we should be careful about our job. They're going to have Elon Musk hung around their necks. I can tell you this works. I've tested it already. We're going into the field very soon because these people are vulnerable as hell. The Doge is about as popular as rotten meat in the state of Virginia. They're going to have to defend it. And the problem, as always, when you have a cohort in your party of insane people who spend 40% of their time on Twitter every day, when they see someone say, Lord Elon made a mistake, their natural reaction is to dogpile them and to attack them. And then you end up in this thing where even these MAGA candidates get interpreted as establishment rhino cuck shills, and the MAGAs stay home.
Right.
Or the MAGAs put up another candidate in a primary, someone crazier.
Right.
Yeah, but it's not even about Trump in Virginia. It's about Doge and these cuts, and that it is bleeding them. It is bleeding them savagely right now.
It is true. Doge, just one last caveat about Doge, not saving anyone any money.
No. You could have done basic financial auditing and saved a lot more money.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Rick Wilson.
Molly Jong-Fast.
What is your moment of fuckery?
That would be Pope Flatulus the first, Donald Trump.
Tell us why you have picked this moment as your moment.
I find, look, America is a nation founded on religious diversity. And I know the D word offends the MAGA at scale, but it really legitimately was founded on religious diversity. Go back and read George Washington's letter to the Connecticut synagogue.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be doing that.
I'm sure they're going to dig that right up. But he talked about freedom of religion as far back as that. And for the MAGAs, one of their articles of faith for the last few years, has been, how dare you insult our Christian faith? And then Donald Trump posts a picture of himself as the next pope from the official White House Twitter account. I don't know how hot the hinges of hell are. It's a phrase we use here in the South rather frequently. But I suspect if that doesn't qualify as full-on white-hot blasphemy, I don't know what does.
Rick Wilson, white-hot blasphemy.
Watch the documentary Conclave in the near future, and Conclave 2, Electric Boogaloo.